What is going on, everybody? My name is Ryan Marcus. This is another video going to my daily fantasy sports site that I am making for my web publishing class. And so I've been giving you a lot of information on whether it's legal, whether it's not legal, what the Attorney General of New York says, what the everyday person thinks. And it's not my job to decide whether it's legal or not. I just want to put the information in front of you. That's what I said a little bit earlier. But it is, maybe you see this all and you think it's worth the risk, or you think you're good at fantasy sports and you had never explored this before, or maybe you're just really interested and you want to give it a try and maybe think you can win a little bit. I know on the commercials they show people that have won astronomical amounts of money, and maybe you think you could be one of those people too. So I'm going to give you not necessarily a tutorial, but just a little guide around the FanDuel interface, the FanDuel website. That's the website I choose to use. I do not use DraftKings. So I guess the first thing we're going to do is go to FanDuel.com. And you can see I am already logged in. Let's check my transaction history. It's not necessarily the prettiest. You can see right here that my balance is $28.96. I started with $50 and have only won 4. I was actually surprised when I checked my transaction history to see I won 4. And then I put in a promo code Patrick. I listen to the Dan Patrick Show every morning, and I got a $50 bonus. You know, they match my deposit, but as you see, they slowly give it to you over time, making you earn it, making you play for it. So yes, you see, starting with the $50 right here, right here, and then most of it's all the leagues I've played, and then you see I get a little bit back, 4 cents, 8 cents, 20 cents, 8 cents, and then there's that $4 victory. I was very surprised to see that when I checked my FanDuel the other day. So if we go back to the main page, it shows you the lobbies. They always start with the NFL because, you know, that's where the fantasy sports have really been making a big push, at least the daily fantasy sports. The NFL is big time. I like playing fantasy football the most. I've actually really never played any other fantasy sports, but NFL, it just makes a lot of sense, and it's what I have experience with. But that being said, I do have 2 contests coming up today. I use the same lineup. That's the great thing. If you pick a lineup, you're feeling very confident about it. You can use the same lineup in multiple contests. In some contests, you can have multiple entries. But as you can see, this is basketball. If you're sports fans, you realize these are basketball players. This is my first time ever playing fantasy basketball. I wanted to give it a shot because I played a free fantasy baseball league just for the fun of it, just to see how I do. I got 3rd place, so I figure I know virtually next to nothing about baseball as a sports fan. I know a little bit here and there, but I know a lot more about basketball, and I figured I might as well give it a try. This is the lineup I'm going for. You see, this one's a big league with, if we click on it real quick, you can see there's 11,700, or excuse me, that's 117,647 people, with $10,000 in prizes, and top prize $10,000, second place $5,000, and then, you know, it goes smaller and smaller as you go through, and you could win a little bit of money getting all the way through to 23,025th place with $2. So you double your entry fee with $2. But so you know, there's a possibility to win, but it's tough to get to the top. There's a lot of people in that league. And then if we go back, it's just a $20 league. The top 3 win. You know, you got more of a chance to win, but not as many spots pay out. And it's only $18 in prizes, $10 to first place, $5 to second place, and $3 to third place. So let's go, because I'm a little bit more familiar with fantasy football. Let's find a league coming up this Sunday. And I'll enter one because I can always change my prize later. If you look right here, $5,300 entry for a 10-player league. I don't think many people are coming into FanDuel playing things like that. I think they have a lot of experience, a lot of money racked up from playing in the past. And then they can play that entry fee and it's not a problem. So let's go something a little more affordable. Go to free. We'll start with, let's play a $1 league. I was talking to my buddy yesterday. He's in the YouTube video that's on one of the other pages, and he says he only plays dollar leagues, and that's, I think, the way to do it. Maybe $2 leagues at most, but a $5 league, that's not your best bang for your buck because it's low risk, you know, potentially high reward. So let's play a 250 person league. You can see you got all the games on Sunday and Monday. Or if you want, you can choose slates with different games. Those are mostly for the tournament, so you can play just Sunday afternoon, just Sunday morning, just Sunday night even. And then you can play just Sunday and Monday night, just Monday night. It's absolutely ridiculous, all the things that you can do. And then let's look at the prizes. First is $50. Second is $30. Third is $20. And you see it just gets lower and lower. But all the way up to 27th place out of 250 people, you make a little bit of money right there. So let's go and enter that league. And let's pick a lineup. As you see, each player is given a numerical value. You have $60,000. Tells you your average per player. You know, some you're going to pay more, some you're going to pay less. It all depends on really who you think is going to play well. You know, you want to play your matchups. It's like Cam Newton has been absolutely unstoppable recently. So I'm definitely going to take him as my quarterback playing the Atlanta Falcons. And if we move into running backs, you know, Devontae Freeman right here, he's been my go-to guy on my, season-long fantasy team. He was my steal of the draft. But I don't know how I'm feeling about him against the Carolina defense. And I think, it's a tough decision right here. I might have to go with LaShawn McCoy playing against that Philly defense, or maybe even Chris Ivory. He's a little bit less expensive, as you see. By buying Cam Newton, my average per player has already gone down. Or even someone like Lamar Miller, but that New York Giants, that up front, it can be pretty good from time to time. So I think for at least my first running back, I'm going to have to go with Chris Ivory. He's been playing very well this year. And then, see, Latavius Murray is a good, cheaper running back to keep me, around my average per player of what I have right now. But against that Denver defense, I really don't want to take him. So I'm just looking through some of my options. And with some pretty limited options, it's a tough decision right now. I might have to take, someone on the Kansas City Chiefs, either Charkandrick West or Spencer Ware right here, just because that San Diego, they're just a terrible team all around this year. Or even James Starks, Green Bay running back against, the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are not in that good shape either. And, I think I'm actually going to go with Giovanni Bernard, running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. Take him as my second running back. And you see it boosts up my average just a little bit. Got $38,000 remaining. Moving on to my wide receivers. And then there's some good questions on exactly where I want to go with my wide receivers. Most daily fantasy sports sites are PPR leagues. And if you don't know what that means, that is a point per reception. Well, it's points per reception. It's half a point for each reception, if I'm not mistaken. We can check the scoring here in a little bit. But one of the good things to do, and although I have Cam Newton, not necessarily doesn't have the most targets this year because he's got an injury to. I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm a big Florida State fan, and I can't believe. Oh, Kelvin Benjamin, his could be top receiver. It's always good to pair up a quarterback and a wide receiver. I think I'm going to look and see if there's anybody I like from that game, see, on the Carolina side. No, I don't think as far as a receiver, but if we go to tight ends, I know exactly who I'm going to take. He's on my fantasy league too. Or he's in my week-long fantasy league as well, and we can find tight ends. Where are we? There we are. Greg Olsen. Yeah, definitely a big bang for your buck, especially Rob Gronkowski, number one tight end, out right now with that injury. So we're going to go back to our receivers. You have 3 receivers in this league, so you want to make sure you make some good choices. Or sometimes what I like to do is I like to go to my kickers and my defense and get those out of the way, because those are always cheaper than your average, and then it inflates your average, and you know exactly how much you have left to spend. So as far as defense, I think that Denver Broncos defense is going to have a good. Actually, Seattle against Baltimore. Baltimore is pretty terrible right now. I know Seattle's on the road, but I think the Seattle defense is going to have a good time against the Baltimore Ravens. And then if we go to kickers, there's really one kicker I have in mind, and I'm not seeing him right now. I'm probably just passing right over him, unless um, yeah, the Cowboys, they are playing this coming week, and I'm looking for Dan Bailey. He's an unbelievable kicker. Only $4,500. That is a steal. So now I have $7,200 to spend per player on my 3 receivers, or if I want to change up my running back a little bit, because I only paid $5,700 for Giovanni Bernard, I can go and do that. But if we're taking a look right now, I definitely want some good receivers. And I think Mike Evans, he's been playing pretty well recently. New Orleans defense is absolutely terrible. Brandon Brown is the only, I feel like, good corner on that team, good secondary player. And so I definitely want to take Mike Evans. If we're going to keep looking down the list, it all really depends on you want to play the matchups, but you also don't want to let the matchups influence your decision too much. A good player is going to come to play basically any game. At least you hope so. But at the same time, if you're playing the #1 pass defense in the NFL, it's not necessarily the best choice to pick that player. I'm kind of having a little bit of trouble picking who I want to play right now. If I really want to, I could pick Jeremy Maclin, wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, against the Chargers. The Chargers, like I said earlier, they've been pretty terrible this year. And then you see now that I've gone over, I only have $6,700 remaining. That limits exactly who I can pick. And Michael Crabtree is really tempting, but again, he's playing the Denver Broncos with the Oakland Raiders, and definitely not the best choice because the Broncos have an absolutely astonishing defense, especially pass defense. I mean, their defense all around is really good. So I'm kind of limited right now. I'm tempted to take Golden Tate, but he's playing the Rams. And I might have to take Marvin Jones, wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. And let's just take a look because, right now I'm debating between Dante Moncrief, but I don't know that whole quarterback situation in Indianapolis right now. It's been a little bit of a mess. So let's look at Marvin Jones. And as of late, it's been pretty inconsistent. You can see his points on this right column over here. 14, 7, 8, 5.6, 10.3, 2.4, 20, 8.6. 2 weeks ago, 1.5. And then last week at Baltimore, 17.9. So it's really been an up and down season for Marvin Jones. But again, this video is just a demo to see how it all works. I might play with this lineup a little bit later in the week, but I just want to help you guys out. And so, yeah, as you can read right here, the lineup locks Sunday at 1 p.m. So we'll go ahead and enter this lineup right now just for fun. But you see now I can take this lineup. It already has it set up, and I can choose to enter it in any of these contests they throw right in front of me, or I can just go back to my lineup, export it, and then import it into another contest. Maybe that's not listed right here. And then just to go back to the scoring for you guys, as you see right here, my lineup, 10 FanDuel points, 4 cents pending bonus on this settlement. And if we go, can we go to rules and scoring, and then it goes exactly through your scoring right here. And, it's very typical scoring except for the PPR aspect. And reception is half a point right there, like I was talking about. And so I think that'll about do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it helped you guys out. I am not a fantasy football expert. I do think I'm a big football fan. I do think I'm a big sports fan in general. If you have any questions, anything you want to leave in the comments, like this video, subscribe maybe. I could do this a little more often. Again, this is just for a class, but we'll see what kind of response this gets. And I hope this helped you figure out FanDuel. I don't know how different DraftKings is. I don't play that website, but I hope it helped.